Zaalbar's the one with the taunt, so it says each another ally. I'm assuming that's someone aside from him. Mission does have a taunt. T3 does have a taunt. You know, he's got a cleanse, right? Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids, and all of you Wookiees with life debts, some crazy Sith Lords out there, to today's video where we have early access gameplay of the brand new Zaalbar Omicron, one of the most hyped things I've seen this community about for a long time. And people want to know, how good is this Omicron? And we can't wait till Grand Arena. We need it now! And don't you worry, we have a ton of gameplay of Zaalbar with Darth Revan smashing fools out there. Just like I'm going to need you guys to politely smash that like button with all your Zaalbar Omicron might. Whoa, things are going to get crazy, my friends. But not as crazy as today's sponsor. Hey guys, real quick, I want to let you know that this video is being sponsored by me, myself, and Raid Shadow Legends. In case you guys did not know, I have a second channel where I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends. I've been putting out daily videos. If you use the link down below, I'll be able to get you some free champions as well that I'll talk about in a moment. Check out this one that I just posted. I'll be blown away if I get a legendary. Oh, card. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll leave a link down below for you. I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends for over 7 months, hardcore, absolutely in love with this game. And it's not just me. Raid Shadow Legends is literally dominating. When it comes just from the character collection standpoint and theory crafting, really this game has more depth than some of the other games you might be familiar with. Plus, there are so many characters that are being added to this game, a lot of them even free, and we've built such an amazing community over here as well. My first clan filled up so fast, I had to create a second clan. And we also have a Discord server where we all hang out together. We'll be able to help and guide you and have fun throughout the process. Use my link down below, scan my QR code, and I'll be able to hook up with 2 free epic champions. You'll be getting Rector's Wrath. She is something I've been using since I first started, and I'm still using her to this day for endgame content. And you'll also get Tyrell for free. And look, I have 8 Tyrell, so that's gotta be great, right? When you start the game, make sure to use the promo code Monkey King, and you will get this amazing attack legendary champion for FREE. And yeah, I want to address this. Okay, before we get to the Darth Revan gameplay with Zaalbar, Zaalbar's the one with the taunt, so it says each another ally. I'm assuming that's someone aside from him. Mission does have a taunt. T3 does have a taunt. You know, he's got a cleanse, right? Jolie. Oh, in my defense, the other day when I was like, what Old Republic light side has a taunt? Yes, Juhani has a taunt. But in my defense, if I may present some sort of testimony to the Kyber Council here, Juhani for me has always been remorseful. This is misspelled. It should be trash. The only thing that I thought she had going on was she's great with Starkiller and territories with the Omicron, and I always just assumed the taunt with Juhani was because of Starkiller. Because outside of territory war defense with Juhani and Starkiller, I use Juhani approximately 0 times every single year on offense. So Juhani and that Zaalbar Omicron is going to be pretty interesting with her hopefully getting lots of offense rampage for remorseful trash. So my friends, we have a lot to talk about with this Zaalbar Omicron. Today we only have gameplay. Big thanks to the data miners over at SWGOH events for getting this early gameplay together. We only have gameplay of the Darth Revan team, which is going to be oriented for 3v3. If we ever do get some 5v5 gameplay of Cartho Nasi with the Zaalbar Omicron, don't worry, I got you covered. And technically, Zaalbar could be used with the Wookiees. His Omicron doesn't really benefit it too much, except for maybe the pre-taunt and retribution. The best thing he might be able to offer the Wookiees is preventing Bad Batch from getting defense up and stealth, which could make him a bit more viable on defense, I suppose. This is very much so an Omicron, more so designed for light side Old Republic in 5v5 and Darth Revan in 3v3. So let's focus on the Darth Revan 3v3 combo. So let's start rolling that gameplay. Quickly reminding you guys what this Omicron does with Darth Revan. And again, if we get some Cartho Nasi gameplay with the Omicron, I will definitely be showing that as well. But Missions Guardian, Omicron upgrade on this. We got some Wookiee gameplay to start us up just to show you a little bit. I don't think there's gonna be much there. It's all about Old Republic and Sith Empire stuff. Zaalbar mission are gaining the Sith Empire tag, and I saw a lot of you guys love the lore call out to this from the Darth Revan story arc. Mission's gonna get a bonus turn, and you're gonna see Han Solo cannot target her like we predicted. At the very start of the battle, she's gonna get a bonus turn. She can't be targeted, and at the start of that turn, she's gonna instantly defeat herself, calling out a little lore between Zaalbar mission as well as Darth Revan. Some pretty cool stuff right there. She's gonna instantly be defeated. She's going to grant her critical chance, critical damage, offense, and speed to Zaalbar and Darth Revan, in addition to their own, until the end of the battle, and these effects persist through defeat. Zaalbar and Darth Revan gain guard until Zaalbar is defeated. Once per turn, Darth Revan assists whenever Zaalbar uses an ability. So basically, you're creating a Super Saiyan for Darth Revan, and jury's out whether it's going to be an offensive or defense thing. We're going to kind of talk about all sides of the spectrum when it comes to how we're going to be utilizing this Omicron. But as you're going to start seeing now with the gameplay, a lot of these battles, I'm not even fast forwarding them. This is just all normal speed for the rest of these battles here. These battles end in like 20, 30 seconds for a grand majority of them. And some of the counters that we already kind of are starting to see seem to be iffy or very expensive. One of the two right now. I mean, shoot, he's just straight up dunking on Revas out there. That's kind of nuts here. And in 3v3, again, let's set the stage real quick. It's pretty feasible to split up a Darth Revan from a Malgus in a 3v3. A lot of people do it. I do it oftentimes myself. You can do Malgus, Past Lashan, Darth Malik. And then you could do, obviously what you're seeing here with Darth Revan, Zaalbar, and Mission. So let's just talk about the defensive sides of things first. Because of things like the crit avoidance basically baked into the guard, it makes things like General Anakin Skywalker, which was kind of the counter to Darth Revan once upon a time, makes it a lot more complicated. It really does. But there is going to be a bit of a downside with this thing here. Yes, it's going to be smashing a lot of teams. A lot of people calling it out, and rightfully so. And there's two ways of looking at this. You might be able to easily cheese your way through a Darth Revan lineup, because at the very beginning, Mission's going to sacrifice yourself. You could throw in your own sacrificial team, throw in an Ugna, throw in a Cup, whatever you might want to do. Let them defeat the Mission. Mission doesn't come back in the next round. The effects do not pass through each encounter. So if anything, if you don't want to deal with the crazy stuff, now Revan's throwing down out there now. Just get out there, do a sacrificial offering of your own, get rid of Mission. The next battle's only Zaalbar and Darth Revan, and it's not going to be nearly as crazy because Mission's not there to provide any sacrificial stats to Darth Revan. So definitely a strategy with that. But a lot of Grand Arenas I'm sure you guys are familiar with, it comes down to one drop battle. What if that one drop battle for someone trying to not have to deal with the Darth Revan, the Super Saiyan power, gives you a win? That's a way to look at that. And then the other side of things, maybe it's not that big of a deal. So there's two ways of looking at pros and cons with it all as well. But furthermore, my friends, we already talked about briefly how fast Darth Revan can be in the defensive standpoint. It doesn't matter, I guess offensive as well. With him getting stats from Mission, modding her right, which she's going to get lots of speed. We showed he could easily get over 600 speed, basically 300 times 2, so over 600 speed. But don't forget, he's also going to get even more speed on himself. When he's leading, he's getting all those debuffs on the team. So things are going to get a lot more interesting in that regard as well. So if we're going to really kind of look at this from, oh boy, how fast is going to be? He could be extremely fast because he gets 15 speed for each of their own debuffs. So with Ferocity, with all the Mission and the Mission and Zaalbar stuff going on, Revan is going to be very fast. It's going to be very hard to outrun this guy at the very start of the battle. So, but if you look at this from an offensive perspective now, we can use this. Basically what you're seeing here, you can maybe use him to take down a Reva very easily. We already saw him take down Great Mothers, for example. I'm really leaning towards... we're gonna show some counters to him in a moment. Right now, I'm definitely leaning more towards that the defensive side of things, because the stuff that I'm seeing that's countering him, it's either gonna be like a quick Ugnaught cheese, break out the Mission, get back in there, or as we're gonna see, we might have some opportunities with Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin. Seems a little sketchy, RNGezy. And then we see the expensive stuff. We're going to be seeing Gungans as well. Some other things like Queen Amidala, Balin. Those are top tier counters. So even though I know there's some ways maybe you can work around them on the when you're going up against him on defense, I still think he's probably going to be good on the defensive side of things. If it forced the drop battle just for someone cheesing it, that's a lot of banners that you can work with to get yourself the victory. So now we're going to start transitioning our way into what seems to be getting some counters early on. We see that you can potentially get this to line up with Anakin getting a big nuke straight off the get-go. A lot of hit or misses. You're going to see our resident data miner here go in a few times to show how this is looking like. Man, I'm super jealous of this, but I'm so happy we got someone in our community who can kind of work under the table and get this cool little dev build or test build, sandbox build that they created for themselves. we're seeing that we're able to nuke out the Revan pretty consistently, but then Zaalbar, he's able to kind of chill around because he is going to be super durable as a Wookiee, especially if we're going to be rocking a lot of Relic 9s. But here we see we got ourselves a pretty decent win. We're going to go ahead and get the nuke. We got them both out. So keep in mind, this might be the cheapest counter that I'm seeing so far in terms of if you're trying to one-shot, but there is going to be a risk factor associated with it. Everything else from here on forward, these are all expensive counters. If someone's got to throw a Balin on a Darth Revan, that's a big deal. If someone's got to throw a Gungan up against Darth Revan, that's a big deal. I don't want to deal with Gungans on defense, and Gungans can beat some other great stuff on offense. If it's forcing a counter on otherwise would have been a legacy team that people can easily run over with Imperial Troopers. That's why Darth Revan kind of went extinct on defense. Imperial Troopers have veered, able to steamroll as well as a variety of other things out there. This is going to be a big win for Darth Revan, no matter how I'm looking at it right now. And of course, this is only early access, test sandbox gameplay that we're seeing at the present moment. There might be some other stuff that comes out of here, but so far, it's addressing the key thing that made Darth Revan irrelevant. Imperial Troopers, and don't get me wrong, I love my Imperial Trooper team, but once we saw Veers and Dark Trooper Piet rise to glory, unfortunately the sun set on Darth Revan. Of course, until Malgus came around, that's a whole different thing, but now you can do that split. You can create a Malgus lineup and a very powerful Darth Revan lineup independent of himself, which is totally feasible in my opinion. So I don't know, man. I know this is only it's a bunch of gameplay. It gives us a quick little glimpse as to what we're going to be expecting in the near future. But for me so far, I'm being a fan of this. I am a big fan of what we're seeing right now with Darth Revan, the lovely mission, and Zaalbar. Characters that, again, the older public faction, I mean, most people, you largely ignore it. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people gear them up for the Darth Revan, the Malik event. Some people just love the older public, and rightfully so. And they've always just kind of been something you kind of push to the wayside. But now people are like examining this. All right, are we going to need it? Gary, that was a loud whistle. That was a reverse whistle that we did right there. People are wondering, all right, how far should I gear them up? What Zetas are going to be needed? And really, I think a lot of people already have a lot of the, the Zetas and whatnot locked in for Darth Revan and Zaalbar. If you're going to be upgrading him to get the Omicron, you're going to be getting some Zetas along the way with it. But the older public conversation with Karth is going to be the next page of this chapter. And I'm not 100% sure what that's going to look like here, because it kind of goes against our traditional older public interpretation where it always was Karth and Canderous. Well, now it's that one team that we showed now with, now you got Karth, you got yourselves, what is it? You got the Karth, you got the mission, the Zaalbar, Jolie. People either forgot or you weren't around during that time. Jolie was one of the most menacing characters in the game, with constantly reviving Jedi. Now with that Omicron for Zaalbar in 5v5, Jolie can just revive the entire team. That's going to be kind of scary. And of course, the taunt, as well, as I rightfully pointed out today. Yes, Juhani does have a taunt. Shoot, man, I guess it's finally time to read her kit after many years of ignoring it. She's going to get tons of offense, 400% offense, constantly stacking anytime she's getting taunt. So this is going to be a fun thing that hopefully we get some mileage in 5v5, but in 3v3, this is looking to be a ton of fun. These battles, as you saw, with this guy being as fast as lightning, outrunning, technically he can outrun a lot of Galactic Legends. Of course, the Omicron does not work when going up against Galactic Legends, as we can tell through the beautiful little clause at the very beginning. This is mainly it makes Revan feel like he's a top dog again. It really does. Yes, we're gonna have some maybe cheesy ways to work through him. We'll have to wait and see how consistent those are, but right now it's seeming like he's blowing through a lot of top teams in 20-30 seconds, and the things that do consistently work, well, they're a little bit expensive, it seems like. But you guys let me know, what are your thoughts of the beautiful Zaalbar Omicron based off our first little look on this right here? Now, of course, time will tell once we get him out in the wild, and boy, once we get Datacrons into the situation as well, ooh, things could get even crazier, my friends. But for me, I'm excited. And CG, I said this many times, I'm going to say it again. We need more Omicrons like this. I feel like this was like the original interpretation of Omicrons. Let's go lift up some of these old legacy characters. People haven't been this excited for something in a long time. Something that they have in their roster, and they wake up and like, wow, my team just got better. But anyways, people, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for stopping by in our beautiful video gaming division. And we always say this one thing around here in case you didn't know, and that it's great to be. Are you trying to bleep me out? It's great to be in the Empire today. Zaalbar's the one with the taunt, so it says each another ally. I'm assuming that's someone aside from him. Mission does have a taunt. T3 does have a taunt. You know, he's got a cleanse, right?